Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. MC Mura here. I hope you're all doing great. Now that we're halfway through the CBT season and with the news about the new mechanic and the new balance patch coming this fall, I wanted to talk about a topic, and that is what is actually more important, the actual balancing of the game or the perception of the balance, or how the community sees the balance. I remember back at the launch of Overwatch, or around the early days of Overwatch, Jeff Kaplan, who is the director of the game, he was talking about how the community perceives the balance is more important than how the game is actually balanced. And it got me thinking about how this applies to fighting games. More often than not, when we are discussing tiers, character strength and weakness, and the likes, we are generally following an emotional process. We feel certain ways towards certain characters. For example, if I play Zangief, I probably don't think that highly of Akuma because Zangief does well versus Akuma. However, on the other hand, I probably think that G is an absurd broken character. And no matter how much I try to detach my emotions from my, overall tier list, I feel like the result is always going to be influenced by that. And sadly, it's not only just our experiences, it's also how we view others. For example, let's talk about a character like Poison. Now Poison is killing it in the tournament season, and she's doing so because you have players like Idom and Fudu who are doing really well. You have exceptional players doing amazing work with a good character. While on the other hand, we have someone like Abigail. Abigail is, in my opinion, a very strong character. I can actually say I view him as a top 5. Again, this is my emotional opinion, but I think very highly of him. But Abigail is currently not being represented by a high level of caliber as Idom and Fudu. The only really top tier player using him is Itazan, and Itazan had one tournament. So even though Abigail is very strong, he doesn't get looked at as being such a threat, right? So a strong character with not that much of a top tier representation usually doesn't get looked at that highly. And this also applies to the other end of the spectrum. When we are looking at characters who are looked at as being weak, they are just looked as being weak because they have this aura or perception that they are weak. And I feel like characters like Fang and Vega in particular follows into this category, because looking at a character like Vega, if you ask the random Street Fighter player, he will tell you, Vega is not that good, right? Most people will dismiss Vega as an okay character at best. Some will even go far and say he is low tier or bottom 5. But when you look at the CBT results, Vega had 6 different players in top 8s this season. In all the tournaments we had, 6 different players got to top 8 and played Vega in top 8. He's actually one of the better performing character in top 8. Yet people still don't think that highly of him because we generally perceive him as being weak because he just has that aura about him. You got told for so many times that Vega is weak, so now just Vega is weak. You don't even think about it, Vega's weak. It doesn't even matter how the results are saying. And this also goes for other characters like Ed, Falk, and maybe Balsim, and the others, who we all just judge based on emotion. Ed is trash. Does anyone actually lab Ed and sees his matchups? And we have by the data, by the number. How is Ed? Not really. We judge him because, for the most part, Ed is trash. You just hear Ed is trash and you hear it long enough that you believe that Ed is trash. Right? So this brings me to the devs now and how the devs should balance fighting games in general. Because unlike us, the devs have the actual data. They have the numbers and they have the actual proof of who is doing what. Now I am 95% certain that the devs actually have favorites. So I'm pretty sure that they like certain characters, or they want certain characters to be strong. Maybe they are not a biggest fan of others, or they think that, let's say if Dhalsim is a top tier character, maybe they think that's not healthy for the game, so they are keeping him in check. But what I want to get to is only the devs actually have the raw data. Only they have the non-emotional, objective balance of how each character is performing. So should they balance the game towards our feeling? So they say, okay, this community now thinks that Karen is the best character in the game and she's broken because Punk and Bochan are winning everything, and no matter how much you slice it, that is how the character will perceive it. So should they balance and just over nerf this character, or should they nerf it based on the data they have, because they have the actual balance? So what do you think in conclusion? Do you think that the community and how the community sees the game is healthy? Or should they just balance it based on the raw numbers they have? Please let me know below, and if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe or share, it all really helps. Thank you for watching and stay safe.